Hey guys, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about the new PUP album, Morbid Stuff. PUP are a Canadian pop punk and emo band that since like the early 2010s have really gotten quite the cult following going. 2013's self-titled debut was very solid. I mean, I wouldn't say that there was anything shocking or new here. I mean, you have to realize at the time there really wasn't anything wild going on in pop punk and emo to begin with. But these were impassioned, catchy tunes that stuck with you immediately, and I was able to really get with that. But with 2016's The Dream Is Over, I really understood the hype a lot more. This was a punchy, energetic, and most importantly, insanely catchy pop-punk album. Not to mention, most importantly, PUP just seemed to be oozing personality at every turn. Well, once again, I didn't feel like anything was truly groundbreaking here. I was really feeling what the band was doing here. And honestly, I feel like the latest string of singles might be some of their best in years. Let's chat about this thing. Like I said, these days I feel like there's not too much groundbreaking stuff going on in pop punk and emo right now, and PUP once again on this album just seems to be churning out some of the best on the market. This album starts off with its title track, Morbid Stuff, and not too shockingly, it's a very triumphant and epic start. Like, you really have to give PUP credit. They play this style of music with absolutely no shame and just go at it full force. Like the title suggests, I love the very morbid sound to this track as well. Like, by the time we get to this absolutely gigantic chorus, I can't help but just get completely wrapped up in this track. There are hilarious anecdotes, a gigantic chorus, energetic instrumentals like I could totally get with this, and I love this as an intro. And Kids up next is just so unapologetically emo. But once again, they play with just such an appreciation for the genre that it's pretty stunning. So much so that I can't help but sing along with every word. It's upbeat, it hits so hard, I love the melodic guitars, like, all in all, I love this track. Not to mention, it's just so joyous and catchy, even though when you look into some of the lyrics, it really shouldn't be, but that's what emo is all about. The very punchy, attitude-packed tunes roll on with See You at Your Funeral, and I honestly feel like PUP's harmonious group vocals have transcended completely. Not even to the point where they're incredible anymore, like to the point where they're a major selling point. This track is so much fun. I feel like PUP are my bar buddies, and I've been pulled up on stage to help them out with a couple of choruses. And the practically in-your-face brattiness of this finale is just such a freaking blast. And after the very progressive Scorpion Hill, it's really just fantastic to hear the guys go with such an upbeat and just upfront, no fuss, no muss track like Closure. It's one of the most accessible tracks here, and I feel like you can just enjoy this easily from the first listen. The guitars are soaring, the playing is determined, this chorus is gigantic, I love all of this. And that guitar break during the bridge, it just constantly sounds like they're revving up, ready to take off. Such a brilliant little detail. This is all fantastic, even though nothing here is really pushing the genre outside of its comfort zone. It's done with just such an appreciation and love of these genres that I can't help but eat this all up. Interestingly enough, though, there are a lot of tracks here that show PUP bringing in a little bit of edge to their music. Take, for example, Free at Last. This is really different for the boys. Like, I wouldn't say this is a darker track, but it certainly has a little bit more of an edge to it. But once again, it is very melodic, and it just has an appreciation for all these genres. And I freaking love Stephen Babcock's vocals here. He just seems like he's gonna scream his lungs out at any second. And I really can't stress this enough, the harmonies on this album, like they have reached an all-time high. Scorpion Hill, one of the bigger tracks here, one of the bigger singles on the other hand, shows the band working with a little bit of patience. Like, I can honestly see fans of The World Is a Beautiful Place, and I am no longer afraid to die being into this. This track is honestly just really flattering for PUP. It's a great sound for them, and it really does my heart good that they're willing to take this sort of risk. And when this track does eventually take off into another pop-punk tune, it just seems so rewarding. It's equally as catchy and anthemic and all, and also very youthful at the same time. Like, in moments like this, it really takes me back to a simpler time where I enjoyed this genre so much more, and that makes me happy. And full-blown Meltdown late in the album, let me just say, this track is freaking awesome. This is just practically a hardcore jam at this point, with these screamed vocals that are just so welcome. And everything else about this track is just so edgy, so harsh. To be honest, this one just works on shock value alone, but once you get past that, this is just a fantastic track here. I do have to say though, there are a couple of tracks here that make me wonder, make me think that PUP still need to grow up just a little. Take for example Bloody Mary, Kate, and Ashley, which on paper I really want to like. Trust me, I understand that these slower tunes are very important to the emo genre. As a matter of fact, I still think the vocals here are really catchy, but I am sorry, this instrumental is sloppy, sloppy, sloppy. And for me, it's the first time on this album that PUP just seemed really unfocused. Honestly, Sibling Rivalry is pretty shaky too. Once again, this track is absolutely catchy, and there's elements of this that definitely stuck with me. But what happened to the determination and the impassioned performances that we saw earlier on? But this track isn't the worst thing here. Like I said, it still packs quite the punch and has tons of attitude. But I just can't help but feel like Sibling Rivalry is just a little average. And sadly, Bare Hands is just really clumsy. I feel like the instrumental here is just constantly tripping over itself, and some of the vocals here just don't even sound sure anymore. And just at the end of the day, this track just comes off as faceless, easily my least favorite track here. But of all the slower tunes here, I think City as a finale is honestly one of the better ones. Like, at least here we get a little genuine tension. Some of the vocals here are really impassioned. But sadly, I feel like this track just has no semblance of closure, doesn't really end off the album in a big, gigantic way. For me, it just leaves too many questions unanswered, and the finale to this track, it just could have been so much stronger. All that being said, I think this is PUP's best album by far, and I still think that these guys are absolutely crushing this sound right now. Like, if you're into pop, punk, and emo and not listening to these guys, you're doing something wrong. Get out there and listen to these guys. And this is a really catchy, impassioned, attitude-packed album that shows the guys bringing a little bit more edge and really just getting their harmonies to the next level. However, there are a couple of little details here and there that are a little flimsy. It still could be a little sharpened over time, but still, this is a great album. These guys are great. Love these guys, and get out there and check them out if you haven't already. For now, I'm feeling a decent 7 on this album, but let me know what you guys think down below. And if you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you guys would like for me to chat about in the future. Until next time, have a great day, guys.